Welcome back to Luca the Podcast, where we talk to the rule breaker, the tastemaker, who are reshaping the world of hospitality. My guest today is someone who is seeing the bartending not just as a service, but as a theater, storytelling. He is one of the most celebrated minds in our industry, from reinventing hotels bars in London to creating one of the most awarded bars in the world today. He is always ahead of the curve. Simone Caporale is the force behind the legendary Artesian Bar at the Langham, co-founder of Sips in Barcelona, the world best bar of 2023, and a visionary whose creativity and discipline have inspired bartenders from around the world. Simone, welcome to the podcast. Simone, it's great to be here in your home, and I'm really pleased that you're taking some time to go deep into whatever is your personality. What you represent for us is a huge thing, and we would like to deconstruct it. We would like to unfold Simone Caporale today for an hour and 20 minutes. So let's start from the beginning. You are from Como Lake, Osucho, right?
No. It depends. I was born in Mezzegra, which is there's a few towns after that. It just is a very small town one after the other. Villages, not even towns. And I was born in Mezzegra in 1986. Mezzegra is famous for two things, mainly two things, which I'm very proud of. The first one is that's where Benito Mussolini was captured after the Second World War, at the beginning of the end by the partisan. And then also because in Mezzegra still exists the fastest constructor of speedboat. Not because they are fast doing it, but because the first world records were made by these constructors there. Something very niche, but it's important for me to say.
And the question is, why you're a bartender and not a boat construction?
You need to afford boats. Yeah.
That's a thing. But the passion is still with you, right?
Of course. I still build small models of boats.
You own one? No. A little boat.
I own many models, but not a real one.
Well, okay, that's the beginning, right? That's the beginning. And so I want to put my head around how being in Como Lake take you to be a bartender. Like, what has been the path for you since the early days? Has been something that really clicked with you?
Bartending, you mean?
Hospitality, I will say.
Okay.
Let's start from that.
Yeah. I remember I was enjoying massively to serve food at the Christmas dinner when I was going to Padua, where my father's side of the family used to be. And generally for Christmas, you always have like a dinner with like many fish or seafood in Veneto, in the region. And I remember with the tray, I enjoyed to serve pretty much over the relatives. And I really enjoy going to the kitchen and coming back. And then I remember, which I still have in my father's house, a cabinet, a wooden cabinet. That's where they used to keep a few liqueurs and grappa or brandy. And and that's where I start to serve and pour the very first few drinks.
So is that has been your click?
Possibly, yes. I remember my dad like a rusty nail, but with brandy, not with whiskey.
How come your father knew the rusty nail?
It was a classic drink from, IBA.
I
classic
see.
Drinks.
So it was a family thing.
No. We're just having like a simple drinks after dinner. That's how I started it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, in my head is you start to feel the passion for hospitality. So serving people, I guess that has been your moment.
Absolutely.
And what has been the switch in between your studies and then, being in hospitality involved with a job or with...
Well, I didn't study for it, to be honest with you. My school degree is technician of energetic system, which sounds very, wow, pretty much is a plumber. Okay? So I can install heating system, air conditioning, radiators, things like that. But then I got specialized in the last 2 years of high school because I studied until 18 years old. And the last 2 years I specialized into car engineering. So engines. However, back then in the early 2000, public school, they were not equipped with the latest technology things. And I was practicing on an engine of a Fiat 126, which is a car from the 1970s, pretty much, 1780s. So I can say today that I won't be able to start a modern car, but a vintage car, I know how to make it happen. I can flip it over.
So you have a backup plan if everything goes wrong.
Yeah, I can start to work on vintage cars, perhaps. Yeah.
Are you passionate about engines, cars, both? It's all like related to the engine itself, or?
I'm really passionate about things that's been made with the hands of a person.
Craft.
Can be a car, can be a sculpture, can be a vase, but I'm even more trapped mentally into those things that you could see that have been lasting for long. So have been built with the craft to last.
Have been thoughts, have been
things to last. So looking at the column of a Greek empire, for example, I can say that for wow. I look at it, I don't know, to an iPhone or things like that, I don't care.
I see.
This is me.
I see. Well, that is a good thing to not care about it. I know you for quite a long time to this day. And I know your reputation of being really precise and be, disciplined and be on the spot with everything. Is it this something that you learn during the time in Como? Or it's something that you acquire with the time, thanks to hospitality? Or
precise and discipline. Well, I can say that discipline on me, I started recently. Discipline on work, there's a different things for me. About being precise, and this can be also a problem, because when you spot the small details, maybe only you see them. And for most of people, be absolutely fine. But you see that small things, and it drives you mad. It can literally ruin the day for something very simple. And then eventually, with the time, I have to learn that I can still fix it, but I need to keep it inside of me. Otherwise, you won't explode every day. And especially here in Spain, it's something that occurs very often. I explode. I don't care. When I see people that does things without a care, I fucking kill them. Seriously, yeah.
Super honest. Do you think it makes a big difference doing things properly?
It makes a big difference doing things properly. Try to sit on a plane when somebody has been fixing the plane without care. Do you feel safe? Of course you don't. So we're not driving planes, but we serve food, we serve ingredients, and if you don't want to be precise, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Don't stay around me.
You are passionate.
Fine, so.
Yeah. You are passionate about engines, about cars. Everything is made by craft. There is one thing that I think you are really passionate about it, and then you can tell me if it's not true. It's about creating things with your own hands, yourself. And this is really much connected to what you do every day. Like making cocktail for you, it's craft made, but it's the whole process behind. Yeah.
Well, if you learn how to do something, then automatically also you will learn how to understand the things. If you know how something is made, even in the basic things, you will understand what can possibly go wrong with that things. Same for a drink. You might come up with a beautiful idea, but then you start thinking about, well, what's going to happen if several tables ask for that things at the same time? Is that drinks becoming something complicated or difficult, or we can still execute it? So if you need to learn how to do things in order to understand them.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's like looking at the wall and just.
Okay. Well, going back to Como Lake, you start your career in hospitality thanks to the family dinners. That's what you are telling me.
No. I started to work in a bar officially at the age of 15, which wasn't official because legally you need to do minimum 16 years old. So I started to work before being legally allowed to in the summer during my school breaks. because I put myself in troubles with a few friends, and we were literally we were breaking into houses in the parking lot, so not into the living room. And we were stealing motorbikes, scooters and motorbikes, because there were the families, and when I say families, I mean families related to 'Ndrangheta in Lake Como, which are kids that were slightly older than us. They're giving us cash for motorbikes. It was like a 200 euro, 300 euro for a motorbike, which is something stupid. But I didn't do it for the money. I was doing it for the action. You know, it was 4 of us doing it. However, the other 3 friends, I'm not in touch with them anymore, but I can still get them in contact. Some of them, they were also trading stolen phones, selling marijuana, and that's where the police, the carabinieri, the police start to track them on the phone. I was not included into this equation, but they erupted into a friend's house, and they found the plate of the vehicles, which he kept as a souvenir. Obviously, if they catch you with a plate of vehicles, most likely you have something to do with that.
Yeah.
And that's they raid all the datas and on the phone, and then basically the police knocked at the door of my mom's house. I was still at school, so she said, "I'm gonna bring it to the police station as soon as he comes home." So and the first thing is I saw shoes flying over my face like this when I came home.
But did he catch you the shoe?
Of course.
Okay. No, I wanted to make sure that that's
absolutely good that he catch me.
Yeah.
Good that he caught me.
The moms are really good in Italy with the.
Oh
with
they're like
with
snipers. Yeah.
So what happened after that? You got arrested or what?
No, we didn't. Well, we went to court. We went to court a year later. So before that, basically, I have to start to go and look for summer jobs in order to pay the lawyer and also to pay the damage towards the victim. And actually, that guy also died as well. He had a car accident. It was years later. Anyway, start to work in the summer, and but I never worked in a bar. I never worked anywhere. I just was serving just dishes at home. So I remember I was looking for a summer job. I said, "Okay, have you worked before?" And then I said, "Wow, now if I say no, most likely they will see me qualify for that." I said, "Yes, I've been working already." "What do you do?" I said, "I work in my father's pastry shop in US. My father was in US. He didn't have a pastry shop. He'd have a lab to produce gelato, ice cream for wholesales." And I said, if I say that I never work, maybe I'm going to lose the chance. So I literally have to create instantly the chance. I said, "Okay, so you can come and work." So that's how I started.
That's how it began.
Yeah, I had to lie, but you are 15 years old. You need a job, and you need to make it happen. I said, "Yes, I've been working in a pastry shop." Okay.
You start as a bartender?
No.
Or barback,
no,
or glass collector, or
I started as a barback, yes, but the barback that they call you when somebody vomit in the toilet, when the glass is broken in this dance floor, you go and pick it up. When you need to empty all the trash, when you need to empty that's what we do every night. The small trash can in the bathrooms where people throw, everything.
So this one is
especially the girls' bathroom in a club can be very messy.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So this has been,
and that's how it started.
Yeah, it's been a necessity, right?
Yeah, but I like it. I love it because I was surrounded with adult people. I was 15 years old in a place of 30 plus. I was allowed to come back home. Well, when I was going out with my friends, I was allowed to come home at midnight, sharp, no messing around. But when I was going to work, I was coming home at 5 a.m. because I was, So, but in my days off, when I was going out, midnight, back home. So it was still discipline at home, I liked it. But I really enjoyed to work. I loved it. I had my own money. And but one thing that I missed, and it's something that it would never happen again in that way. I never had the chance to go on holidays with my schoolmates, because when they're 16, 17 years old, they were going for a weekend in Italy, something that I never did because every weekend I was at work. And that, imagine to take a train, go with your friends in a hotel room, going to a bar, meet.
Be stupid.
Yeah, be silly at that age, something that I'll never be able to do because I was already at work. And that things I know that will never come back.
That thing is, do you think it really shaped you for who you are today?
Well, everything shapes you, yes.
What has been the takeaway that Italy gave you? Because after that, you've been moving to London,
Italy?
Spain. Yeah, what
In general?
gave you, yeah, what gave you that you have it with you still to this day?
Maybe the attention to certain details, I think. I mean, we were born, me and you, in Italy, so...
The
what
charisma
gives-
maybe as well, would you say?
That's also quite possible because by culture we're a bit more open when it comes to say something, or find the right way to say something. Also, after in UK, also I learned the smooth way also to say something, the British manner to,
Gentle.
yeah, just to.
Just go
Yeah.
go for the shortcut.
And one thing that I in UK said I really appreciate, which means I appreciate is this, maybe you absolutely
give a fuck.
You absolutely don't give a fuck, but in such a very elegant manner, you just oh wow, I really appreciate it. Especially when a lawyer writes, I appreciate, you don't appreciate. You just send the invoice, I pay for it. There's no appreciation here.
Yes.
Anyway, no, well, I think that details of making things happen. The details of making things happen.
Great. Following this, you start as a barback, glass collector. You start to discover alcohol, going home at 5 o'clock. What happened after that?
No, well, I wasn't drinking. I think the first
Not allowed even for...
No, I didn't care. The first time I think I got tipsy, I think I was almost 18 years old.
Okay.
So very, very, very late compared to my schoolmates. And so I was a barback, let's say, a little bit of everything. And then often bartenders, they were disappearing, going to the bathroom, maybe taking drugs or most likely something that I wasn't aware back then, okay? And for sure, because I seen it with my eyes, maybe they were going to the bathroom with some girls and disappearing. So occasionally I find myself alone behind the bar, doing my things with people maybe asking you for drinks. And there was a night that they put me in a quieter area of this club, in a bar by myself, because they think they fire someone. They immediately send home a
It's
person.
the guy that went with the girl and the coke in the bar.
No. I don't. So I start to literally bartend, with the few things I saw, and then I learned. It must have been a disaster for sure, but that's how I started. So I kind of took this chance.
And how this evolved with the time? Like from there, what have been for you the steps?
Well, my colleagues, my boss, believed in me back then to a point that they start to invest in me, a few training and practicing every day before the shift. And I was 16 years old back then. And at 17, the year later, I was bartending already. And at the age of 18, the summer later, they made me a responsible.
Supervisor.
No. They were responsible. And what I was doing, I was start to placing the orders with the suppliers. Every night I was giving the money in cash to the bouncers, to the extras. And I was 18 years old with 40 years old people. It was very intense because it was super scary for me, because I know that someone trusts me, but then I have to gain the trust on the other one, because say you are 35 years old and an 18 years old person comes and tells you what to do. That's strange, no? It was strange for me.
Yeah.
And I have to accept it, that it wouldn't have been easy or successful, but I did it.
And what brought you to Spain? Because there is a gap in between, right?
Yeah. I've been 5 years in Italy working in the same place in Lake Como, which was a beautiful and very successful and busy place. And then I went to Spain. I came to Barcelona for 3 days. My parents gifted me a trip here to go and see and check out bars. So I arrived in a hostel, not far from me actually was this place. And I left my luggage, and there were 3 girls, I remember, from Romania. And he said, "Hi, we're going out for a drink. Do you want to come with us?" I said, "Sure, at least I can get to know the city." And we went out for drinks, to walking around, have a walk for 3 days. But obviously I didn't see any bars, any substantial place. So I came back home and I said, "How about the job?" I said, "Well, I didn't look for it," you know. But friends of mine in the town, in the village, said, how did it go?" "Well, I don't know. I've been out for drinking for 3 days with
I took
with
the
this
holiday
girl."
I never took when I was
Yeah.
16.
But he said, "I have a friend, she's in Valencia. Why don't we go there?" I said, "Yeah, let's go there." So we went to Valencia a couple of months later, and I stayed for 1 year. And that's when I started to work.
Properly.
Yeah.
What make you feel like I wanna stay for one more year? It
Look-
was the weather, the people.
No, well,
The
I
vibe.
I was looking for a job in a bar, in a cafe or whatever. And I remember I brought my CV to this place, and they were looking at it. I remember I ended up to work in a gay bar by a person. Now we are still very close friends after 20 years. And I was looking at it was a guy from English Guyana, so a beautiful kind of Indian. There's a beautiful blend of culture there. Tall with blue hair. Imagine, looking at my CV. And I said, "Look, I'm looking for a job. I can bartend, I can be a waiter, but anything you need, just I can do it, you know." And he said, "Can you fix a bathroom of the bar?" I said, "Let me have a look." And basically there was a problem with the flusher. So yeah, I can fix it. I'm gonna look for a DIY shop. I'm gonna get a spare part. And I fixed the bathroom for free that afternoon to prove that I could do it. And they gave me the job. And then there was a day they said, "No, there's no shift for you today because it was raining or something." So okay, so there's no work. Okay, I come tomorrow maybe. And there was outside, they call them fungus, this gas eater, that you put them in the table.
The mushroom.
And one was on and one was off, with a kind of an open, kind of broken door. I said, "Okay, I come tomorrow." I said, "But by the way, but what's happening with this thing?" "Oh, it's broken." "Is it broken?" "I'll fix it." So I remember that there was a problem with the valve, with the gas valve, and I fixed, and I turned it on. I said, "Okay, just so you know that I can do it, but I'll come tomorrow." And then in between jobs, he asked me to go and paint an apartment. I remember, and I painted the entire apartment. I remember it was an apartment on top of a bakery in Valencia, and I could smell the bread being baked while I was painting. And I was literally painting. The flat was on top of on the oven, pretty much. And I remember the side of this flat was way warm in the floor because there was the oven. I remember that. And then I've been there for a year, waiter, bartending in this cafe. It was beautiful. It was called Café de las Horas. See, this is a landmark place now in Valencia. It's a beautiful place.
I think we just realized, listening to you, that whatever you've been practicing when you were 16 or even earlier, it really helped you to be where you are today.
Yeah, learn the craft and keep it on the side because it will always serve you.
And one of the characteristics that you have, I think, is you say yes first.
Everything. You always say yes. First you say yes, and then you figure it out to do it, which is pretty much what a concierge does. No? Can you book me a restaurant? Yes. Live with me. Then you figure it out. If they ask you, "Can you help me to do a heart transplant?" No. Then you say no. But otherwise, you always say yes. And this is an attitude that you must have inside of it. Yes. People say, maybe. Just say yes. And then you figure it out.
Do you think it's culturally this type of attitude?
Culture, possibly, but also you must have been growing up in an environment where you need to get things done because nobody else is giving it to you. You don't get fed with a silver spoon, I see nowadays a lot of slightly younger, not that I'm old, but slightly younger colleagues that just in front of a very small obstacle, they go in crisis. And just,
I've never done it before. I don't know how to do it. And then you're like, you know what? Sometimes just take yourself and find out the unknown. Look, it may lead you somewhere, right?
A couple of years ago, with one of our manager, clearly was struggling because in front of certain things, you cannot be like that at the age of 30s plus. He texted me and said, Simone, I'm feeling sick. I said, well, let's just stay home and get well and keep me posted. You might come tomorrow. No. And then he texts me, Simone, I have diarrhea. So, okay. I'm going to the pharmacy. I mean, you don't have, why you tell me this? And what shall I tell at the counter of the pharmacy? So, excuse me? And said, what shall I tell to the person? I said, tell that you're shitting yourself, you need something. And then I said, a 30 years old person that asks someone else what to say in a pharmacy, you must be lost in your life, you know? And a lots of people at 30, they struggle for these things.
And what will be your advice from your heart or from your mind or from your soul to get this, you know?
I think that the main issue comes from the parents. They grow you up in this bubble of super protection, then you end up being an idiot, not being disrespectful. You're very fragile. You always found your trousers folded and ironed, you know. Suddenly you don't know how to sort out the shirt at last minute before the shift. You always have moments that give you the cup of hot tea when you feel sick, when you have a little bit of a fever, and now you don't know how to get aspirins. And this is a common thing in the younger one. Constantly in crisis. Colleagues that...
But what will be your advice
to
get this sorted?
Yeah, you need to fall with your face in the floor several times. And that's how you wake up. Otherwise, my friend, good luck with it. Good luck.
And have you fall more time that actually you succeed?
Well, my parents grew me up with kindness, but at the same time, you know, you have to be strict, and occasionally a kick in the ass or a flying shoes, I got it. And thanks God. I wish I could have taken a few more of those, because now I'm not justifying violence, because violence is different things, okay? But now there are children that tells off to their parents. No way. You need to learn also the respect of people around you, and even to worship people that can give you wisdom, knowledge. You know, they will learn you how to live in the planet. You know?
Sometimes it's good to listen and take it. Maybe you don't need it, but at least you show the sense of respect. And
well, you listen to everyone, then ultimately you decide what to do. But I notice a lot of fragile, they call it a crystal generation, no? Because they're fragile like a crystal, they break. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're going to make it stronger with all the
it's
wise
it's up to them.
Point of view we're going to share with them. But so from Valencia, you has been for 1 year there.
Well, yeah, I've been to Valencia for 1 year.
For 1 year. You've been painting, you've been baking, you've been smelling the baking, you know. And after that?
I went back to Italy for a year, and then I went to London.
When you say Italy, Como?
Lake Como.
Okay.
Bartending again in a cafe, in a bar, in a cafe, in an aperitif bar in Lake Como.
You miss your family?
Beg pardon?
You miss your family, that's why you went back?
No, I have to go back to Italy for the next step. And I've been there in Italy 1 year, and then I went to London, because if I say you must go to London now, if you love cocktails, you are gonna stuck in here, so you should go to London.
So you were in a stage in Italy where I'm not anymore just working hospitality because I need to make money, but I start to get into the vibe of it can be a real career for me.
Well, a few friends and colleagues said, if you want to grow on this, get out of here. And so I did.
So in the moment, you clicked and you said, this is my career. That's what I want to take it on.
No, but way earlier. I remember from school, we were doing these mechanic workshops. And then in the weekend, I was working at the bar. I remember I was working Friday night. Every morning, I was waking up at 6:30 a.m., catching the ferry at 7 a.m., taking me to Como for school, coming back home around 3 o'clock. That's every day. Friday morning, 6 a.m., wake up, go to school, come back home at 3 p.m., 5 p.m., go to the bar, work until 5 a.m. 4:30. 5 a.m. home. Sleep an hour and a half. 6:30 a.m., catch the ferry, go to school on Saturday morning. The first 2 hours of school, so I had like an hour and a half sleep. At 16 years old, you can do it when you're 16. First 2 hours of school were sports school. So I was going with blue jeans. So I was not allowed to do sports with blue jeans. And I could sleep those 2 hours. So then 4 more hours of school, come back home, 3 p.m., eat, shower, 5 p.m., back to work, Saturday, 5 a.m. until Sunday morning, go to sleep, 2 p.m., Sunday afternoon, go back at work for the aperitif, for the happy hour, until midnight on Sunday night. 6:30 a.m. on Monday morning, back to school. I did that from the age of 15 until the age of 18, every weekend. Every weekend.
What a tough schedule.
Yeah. And I remember at school we were going to do mechanic workshop. I remember we were changing the oil on the car lift. And this mechanic was called Mauro, was already 40 years old. I said, Mauro, let me ask you a question. You've been working long? If I've been working for 20 years. We were with the Tony. The Tony was this blue mechanic suit that you wear, no? Me. So 20 years working. And how much what's the salary? I said, my salary is 1,200 euros. I was making 300 euro working on the weekend cash at the age of 16, working 3 days. And I said, 1,200 euro, 20 years working here? No, I cannot do this job. So I thought, in the meanwhile, I was changing. I cannot do this. I love it, but I cannot do this. And I remember at school, I was wearing gloves. Otherwise, the grease, the dirt of the engine was staying underneath your nails. And you cannot go and work behind the bar with the dirty nails. And I remember, these things today, if they happen, you can sue. You can feel offended, no? As a teacher. I said, Caporale, why you wear the gloves? Are you scared to get your hands dirty like a girl? I remember. I need to keep them clean because of the work. I said, no, because I need to go and work in the bar and I have to be clean. However, I can guarantee that in the next 20 years, you will still be here saying this to people. I will be somewhere else. That's what I said to him. Just, say what you're going to say, but you're going to rot in this shit place. I will go somewhere else.
Keep you a little bit distance, respect.
And most likely that will happen. So he might be still, maybe now, maybe he's retired or maybe died, I don't know. But, just I remember that this kind of aggro, macho, ignorant, which is also very Italian. It's true, eh?
It should have been really proud of you that you were discovering yourself and exploring.
I was proud of what I was doing I didn't need the validation of a person like that.
Yeah.
But this also can be very Italian. It's kind of a match. I remember I was amazed about tattoos, about piercing things, And then, I must have been 10 years old, 11 years old. I said, Dad, I would like to have a piercing, no? And he said, if you want a piercing, I need to wear a skirt. Because women have a piercing, not men.
Back then, they were not really...
Old school.
You
justified it? No, but there is a type of culture that comes from somewhere. Like it or not, is the reality.
And now jumping, you are in London. You are looking for a job.
No. I was in Lake Como. I have to go to London. I was going to a beautiful cocktail bar in Lake Como called Fresco Cocktail Shop. And the owner said, look, if you go to London, I have a friend there. He's a bartender from Lake Como in London called Agostino Perrone. Go and say hi. You will meet him and just do me a favor. Bring him my cocktail menu from the bar, from Fresco Cocktail Shop. Of course. So I go to London and I enter the Connaught with a little backpack. And there was Agostino there. Said, nice to meet you. Oh, yeah, you come here on behalf of my friends in Lake Como. And this is the menu for you. So, are you looking for a job? Yeah, I'm looking for a job. So give me the CV. So I gave him the CV to Ago. And he said, with a pen. I remember thinking he had a Mont Blanc pen. Ago back then. He said, no, change this. Don't write this. Do that. Swap this. Switch this. And at the end, say, on the reference, put my name. You can tell them they can ask me. They can contact me. So I used that as a warrant, and then I started to look for jobs in London.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
But I remember that moment where nobody knew me. Agostino didn't know me, but he helped me. So I know very well how it feels to be helped, even though nobody knows you, you don't have friends. And also the important is to help someone even though you don't know this person, because everybody deserves a chance. As long as you give a good impression, as long as you give that you're a person to trust. So I will never forget that moment when Agostino helped a young person that he didn't know. And somehow I said to myself, I want to give this back to the other bartender. If I can help, I help.
and you do it every day. You're helping so many people with advice over your
Yeah,
social
look,
media and in person as well.
I took screenshot of all the messages that when people contact me for some help in the bar, I can make a book of it. Yeah.
Well, that is a good thing to have. And from Agostino, your first place where you've been working has been?
It was called Roast. It's a restaurant bar in
Borough
Borough Market, which was focused on seasonal product from the market, pretty much the food in the bar. And Esther Medina Cuesta, my first teacher, she was leading the bar and the bar program there. And now she's back in Spain. We text each other every now and then. And she formed me indeed at work. And I was doing, at the beginning, breakfast shift. Wake up at 5:45 a.m., take the DLR train to Borough Market. Well, DLR and Jubilee, I think. Start the shift at 7 a.m. We don't do cocktails, man. You do breakfast. And I remember these UPs, people from the bank with suit, have orange juice and a Diet Coke. Orange juice and Diet Coke. That type of also, that shitty, pasteurized, pretend to be fresh orange juice and a Diet Coke. So, why are you drinking Diet Coke? Did you just drink something, you know? Orange juice and Diet Coke. Orange juice and Diet Coke. Fine. But I remember I used to serve breakfast to Mark Almond, the singer of a Soft Cell. 1980s, a very successful band. Mark Almond. But still a bit grumpy as well.
What has been the big difference in between Italy and the UK back then?
In UK, you feel the status of people. You know?
That's about it, yeah.
I felt the status of people.
In which sense? That is show, because it's not shown by things. It's not shown by your car, your house. It's shown by what? By the feeling.
One thing that I think I developed in me, a kind of a sense of a feeling, this aura
Yes.
around people. Can be good or bad, but I learned how to feel people. And if you know how to feel people, you can also, it's easier to read people and understand what they want, what they're looking for, what they don't want. And that can be, that is very strategic things, because it will help you to get what you want as well in terms of, in the professional side, you know. So anyway, breakfast and then some lunch shifts, dinner shifts. They were doing cocktails, but it definitely was not a cocktail destination. But then I get to know Alex Cratena in very crazy circumstances, because I went a few times at Artesian for a drink. He always looked after me. And then one day they organized a cocktail seminar with Japanese techniques and Japanese bartender. So I went there.
Who organized it?
Marian Beke and Alex Cratena with a Japanese bartender in Langham, in Artesian. So in the morning, I went there and I found the door closed. It's supposed to be open. You know, there's a fire emergency door. So they are closed, but there's a kind of a half-inch of gap. So I looked inside and I saw Alex organizing things, cleaning the bar. So I just, Alex, I'm here for the seminar. For Simone, it got cancelled. So, wow, I didn't know. Well, I sent the message to everybody, but maybe I forgot to send to you. In the day before, the volcano in Iceland exploded. And these volcanoes ashes, they pollute the sky and they cancel a lot of international flights. So this bartender from Japan wasn't able to arrive on time. She said, Simone, I'm sorry I didn't text you. Or I said, well, it's okay. Just let's go for a walk. Since the event is canceled, we went for a walk and we walked down to Japanese Center, this shop in a Haymarket, no, in Regent Street, to see some Japanese whiskey, some Japanese stools, things like that, you know. knives, and we get to know each other a little bit more in that walk. And then he came a few times for a drink at Roast. And then one night at midnight, he called me, said, Simone, there's a job position in Artesian. Would you like to come? I said, would you like to apply? Because you have to go to, HR. He said, of course. And so I did. And then I went to Artesian Bar.
And you apply and you got the job straight away?
Well,
as a bartender?
I did the interviews. I did the trial shift. And I remember during the trial shift, that's crazy. I was doing something. I was, in the trial shift, what are you going to do? You do
the basic.
Yeah, And at some point, Alex leaned down to refill the fridge of something. And I was helping. I was passing in the bottles or something. And he said, yeah, this hotel is a fucking company. It's a fucking shit company. Like all the hotels. But you know what? Me and you, we're going to screw them up. We're going to do something great. With this kind of anger of, a frustrated worker that we know how I work. And he said, I'm on a trial shift. And he's telling me this. Yeah, let's do it. I hope to get the job so we can do what you said. So me and you, we're gonna do it. And then I got the job. And I did the induction day on my birthday, I remember.
Nice.
Induction day on my birthday.
It was a destiny. And what happened after that? Because
No. On my birthday, there was a Trois Rivières Martinique and rum tasting. And I was invited by Alex. And we were sitting on the tasting, and suddenly my phone rang, and it was the bar manager of Artesian asked me if I could come for another interview, maybe, I don't remember. So I didn't want to pick up the phone during this tasting, would have been rude. So what I did, I turned on the phone, then I slide down the chairs. I've been under the table. So yes, okay, yeah. And then, Alex, they called me from the hotel, I got the job. So yeah. However, me and Alex, we bond even more before that in another occasion. It was Imbibe Bar Show in London. And I was there just walking around, and I saw him, hey, Alex, how you doing? I said, Simone, I'm about to do a stage presentation for a cocktail competition. It's me and my friend Julian. But Julian was completely drunk. He was not even able to stand. I said, I cannot do it with him. Can you help me? I said, yeah, but what I need to do? I'm not prepared for it. Just stay behind the bar with me. Lean down so nobody sees you. And I had this huge bubble machine that could spray, bubble. And you need to throw bubbles because we need to pretend that we are under the sea and need to make a cocktail with a seashell. I said, okay, I'll be behind the bar. Before going behind the stage, he had a bottle of Demerara rum, overproof, and we had a shot of that. And I didn't vomit because I've never been good at taking shots. I didn't vomit, but it made me completely drunk within seconds. So when we went behind the bar on this stage, those stage that you put together for like a one-day event with the panel, there was people already sitting. You go up to the stage, there was the bar. I walked behind the stage, already leaning down because I was meant to be seen by nobody. And with the foot, I kind of hooked myself into something, and I fell. And with the head, I headbutt one of those panels behind this stage, which basically collapsed, and you could see all the cables of the wiring. Say, oh my God, we've been behind the bar menu for a second and we really destroyed something, Anyway, then we started the things. I was blowing bubbles, and there was Ian Barrell, one of the judges there. And I remember that day it's the first time behind the bar with Alex on a bar show, and look what happened, Yeah, when I got the job, and we started to work together, and then the rest is
history. It's history. But tell me something. What has been the vision in between you two? Because if the beginning has been this,
yeah.
I mean, we've been seeing all behind the bar. You literally turned the bar into something that it was not meant to be capable of holding what you were putting there.
Impossible.
It was impossible. So what has been the vision?
Well, we were very dedicated to work. You are an employee of a 300 people's employees company. You come spontaneously 2 hours before your shift at work. it's because you want to do something, you know. Me and Alex, literally, we come from the street. Graffiti's background, himself, hip hop, me stealing motorcycles at 16 years old. I mean, you know,
I mean, adds up the two things
put
together.
us together, what you expect, you know? So we were wearing a tie and a waistcoat because it was the hotel uniform, but we were not coming from that background. So we knew how to make things happen, you know? We know how to read people. And that was the beginning of something. The menu was still made of, that current cocktail menu was made by Gorgeous Group, which was a famous consultancy company in London that was providing, you know, full bar programs to hotel. But we were already, especially I was already fed up to that menu because it has already been going on for a few years. So let's start to change the menu. We start to change things and study, exploring. And I still have all those menus at home. It was the same paper folders of the snack menu, and we used it for cocktails. And that was 2010. 2011, that menu got the world's best cocktail menu at the New Orleans Tales of the Cocktails.
Wow.
Yes. And then Alex got International Bartender of the Year. Eric Lawrence got it first, Ago got it first, Eric Lawrence, Alex Catena got it a year later. I think it was 2011 or 12. Yes. And then from there was, well, if you want to speak about what we did at Artesian, it will take me 10 days of podcast, Luca.
What has been the most funny thing happened to you at the Artesian? Would you like to tell us about it?
One thing.
Only one. Choose one. Think about it, but one.
Well, whatever occurs now in my mind, there was a local, not a local guest, was a regular guest coming. His job was to transport valuable things all over the world. Could be an award, could be some confiscated money, could be gold, could be on behalf of the police, all those type of things. It was making a lot of money. It was super cool, big crazy as well. And when I said, I'm going to the Ritz Casino tonight, I said, really? So let me give you a cocktail on me. It will give you good luck, you know, just to, you know, to make them feel like, give me cocktails. This is on me, try. He went to the casino, disappeared. We're closing down the bar, door closed. He came back, a bit drunk. No, I'm sorry, we're closed. No, just, you know, let's have a drink. Look, we are closing. No, have a drink, you know. I said, but let me ask you, how did he go to the casino? Was it successful? No, I said, successful? Pull out a brick of cash like this. And I said, oh, wow. Congratulations, well done. So what are you going to do with that? No, I'm going to Tenerife. I'm going somewhere. I said, but is it because of that good luck cocktail we gave you, right? Yeah. That's for you. And I would say, no. I was doing it on purpose, because when you say no, they do yes. No, please no. And the more you say no, I was giving, no. We must have shared 15 grand among the four of us.
Bloody hell.
So no, please no. That's too much. When you say it's too much, you feel, no, please. It was happy.
That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's not the craziest things. There's more happen.
What have been the core value of the Artesian? Because you and Alex were in hotel place where the rules were like, you know, tight, you know, everything, it was structure. You made it different.
Alex and I, we were treating people like kings. And when a king of a royalty was coming there, we were treating them like people. That's what everybody wants. That was from the hospitality side. And then there was the creative part of the drinks, of the menu. Of course, things that nowadays, if you look at it, you laugh because everybody's doing it. But in those years, it was fiction. People could not believe. You know, and Alex and I, mainly Alex and I, the rest of the team helped partially. We were coming out with this idea.
Any idea that make you believe in yourself, like, I can go a little bit further, I can take it to the next level one more time?
Yes. Well, whatever you were doing, you were showing it, propose it on a menu in the bar. And basically, the feedback was pretty much what would give you the strength to carry on or change things. And the owners really appreciate what we did because it was so different and so unexpected in a hotel bar, that made us understand that we could do more. But from that moment, we realized that we have to go outside of the bar in order to carry on with the bar. And then when we start to approach different disciplines, like pretty much certain restaurants did before the bar, and start to work with designers, with material designers. 3D print didn't exist back then, so we were still doing tests with clay or drawing, and then asked a company to produce us prototypes and then producing larger scales. But we're literally, for the last 3 years of Artesian, we raised at least 150 up to 180,000 pounds a year for drinks development. Alex and I,
has been always
outside of the bar,
has been always fascinating me, the process, because you were telling me that back in the days, it's like we close in the door, we finish the shift, and we put ourselves here, and we put around ideas that we will develop it the day.
Was
after.
the 3 a.m. creative session, yeah. And those moments, those hours, they were the most profitable. Even the bar was closed, it wasn't generating any revenue, zero revenue, but those hours happened to become the most profitable hours for the bar because those ideas that were then developed, put in place. Profitable for the bar, also for ourselves, because back then we were the first 4 bartenders in the world having a private PR agency, pay with our own pocket, and profitable for ourselves because beside the bar was very successful. In our days off, we were traveling abroad for event, for masterclass, for bar show, for trade show, for consultancy, for drinks development, for flavors development. So we started to also work with flavors, not just with the recipe of a cocktail. Suddenly, they ask you to create a profiles of flavors for liqueurs, or a distillate. And that's you do the real money.
Where did you click and you realize how important is communication?
From those days, because I remember there was Alexandra Irving from back then was a Bacchus PR. Now she owns LX PR. I said, Alexandra, do you think that we should have a PR agent that can, let the media, let the journalists? Back then there was less digital media than now because Instagram was just about to start. They can, write about us, but of course you got plenty of content. And so we started it.
This is really fascinating because I realized that you understood before everybody the importance of creating something unique, to put it out there and shock the world. Like there was years that, Alex and Simone, they were everywhere, anywhere. And it was a really good thing because you've been shaping our industry. And I think this is like a big learning lesson for all of us, coming after your generation in certain way.
The last 3 years of Langham with us, because 2013, 14, 15, 13, 14, 15, annually the PR value generated, because basically for every square inches of an article in a magazine, a newspaper, there is an hypothetical value, okay? Front page versus last page. And every year, approximately each of our profile was reaching approximately 200,000 pounds of PR value, each person.
It's wonderful.
PR value.
It's unbelievable.
On printed and digital.
It's unbelievable. Do you think the Artesian time has been the cornerstone of your career? Or Alex Catrina has been the cornerstone of your career?
Well, those years between Alex and the Artesian were here, but nowadays, 10 years later, I'm still benefiting from that momentum. Not as much compared to the latest things I've been doing, but I'm still benefiting from it.
Can we say that back then you were wild and young?
We were younger, more than wild sounds uncontrolled. We were determined. We believed in something. We were going for it. And we wanted to prove it to ourselves first.
And how did you balance the creativity session with the working sessions, like that it was a must? Because this is one of the biggest challenges that in our industry we have it.
Now, this word balance, which is very sensitive, it's important to have a balance, but Luca, it doesn't belong to me. Back then, working and create, there were this creative session after work where the bar was closed, there were no distractions, there were no guests to be taken care of, but it was 3 a.m. until 5 a.m. You want to go to sleep. I remember driving home my scooter, my Vespa, and occasionally on the straight line, I was kind of falling asleep.
Really dangerous.
So then I was opening up the
helmet to get fresh air.
Just to get fresh air, but that's dangerous. But those were the level of our work, and there's no balance.
Absolutely.
So, but listen, to go somewhere, you need to get there and do it. If you put balance first, put it first, but then balance will be first, not other things you want.
So
to
you
reach.
are saying that to have success, you can have balance.
You need to go for it. If you can find balance, I wish you the best. Me, I haven't been able to find it. So I haven't been able to find it. I will not be able to tell you how to get balance, because I will be very fake to do that.
Yeah. One of the best moments that actually I lived at the Artesian, on the top of all the awards that you celebrated with the industry at all time, it was massive celebration. It was, for me, seeing leading your team to the next level. It seems to be that the whole team of the Artesian, they were feeling like a pack, we are stick together, we are making this together, and there was no discrepancy of level of experience in whatever you were served. And it was unbelievable, because there was not a place around the world that you could find that sensibility coming from everyone of the team.
You need to...
What's the secret behind?
The secret was that we surround ourselves with people that we could dream together with, and without that, you don't go nowhere. We're all from abroad, so none of us had a mom and dad cooking us the pasta in the weekend. So, and in London, you share a small apartment, a small room, you don't feel comfortable. So I rather go to work, I rather go and work, which has been one of the success things of London as well. You spend more time at work than at home. And so that uncomfort zone brought us to wherever we landed, But ultimately, you need to surround yourself with people you can dream with.
Like-minded,
yeah.
What has been the best lesson you're taking away from London experience at the Artesian or the roast or with Alex or with your team that you still apply today in your life or at work?
Learning how to measure and how to identify your real value. Not your values, your commercial value related to your profession.
Your worth.
Your worth. Yeah. Understand your worth. Then you can always negotiate or help a smaller company, but you must define your commercial worth. Because something that in UK, for the mentality, or in London, it will help you to develop that. In other countries, people still think about feuds. Feuds, when you need to work under the on the land, feuds, no?
Yeah.
In Italy, the mindset is still very related to that, which is wrong.
Ultimately, you don't know how much you can ask if you don't know your worth.
Exactly. So you need to know your worth.
In order to know how much you want to make eventually, not just money-wise, but even in perks or whatever it could be. Opportunities, you need to know what's your worth, right? And I think that is a really good lesson that you're sharing right here. And London has been your university of so many learnings, right?
True.
You put together so many accolades, so many awards. What an awards mean to you?
The beginning of something. Generally, when you win, you reach the hand line, you are rewarded with a medal, with something, no? That's the end. But if you see it at the end, most likely you waste all of your time just to get there. I see it as a beginning of something. I see it as a chance to open up new door. In fact, it's not important to win. It's important to know what to do in case you win. And that's why I'm still benefiting from those years. Because we figure out what to do next from that, you know. And that's for me, an award is the beginning. No, now I win, now I'm done. No, now you start because you win. Now you begin something. And that's for me, this is how I see awards.
Impressive because he gives me an understanding that, you know, you need to have a lot of understanding. You need to capturing things around, but you need to make sure that you put them in order of what has to be done in order to have access to that.
Look, for example, when SIPS got the first place, literally from the next day, there was a key outside that we couldn't manage. It was fucking crazy. And the first thing you think is, okay, more people in, more cocktails, more money, more capacity, and so on. But then Mark said, no, now that we win, we need to do less people. It goes kind of against the
general idea,
the natural reaction of it.
Yes.
But we do less people, but we need to increase even more the quality and a little more the price. So we're going to do the same money, or maybe a little bit more, but we control more the quality. It took us a bit longer than what we expect to make this happen because there were so many things to manage. But again, when you win, you start. And when you don't win, you don't lose. You never lose, you learn. You win or you learn. But if you do win, you got to start to do something.
That's beautiful.
if you work your ass to win something and just to say, okay, now I won it, I think you just waste your time.
Yeah.
Because now you need to use that as a leverage, as a trampoline.
Yes, absolutely. And from London, working for a huge company, working with the best bar in the world, the best people in the world, at a certain point you start to click and you wanted to go to the next level, you know, like work for yourself.
Yes.
Because that has been your dream. I know because I know you as a friend, and I know your dream has been like, I want to have my own place.
Look,
here or there. Right?
More than that, I think Alex and I lost the trust on being employees working with this company. They waste your time. And if you play that game, you can be there for 30 years super comfortably. But we were not looking for comfort. We were looking for this bullshit, you know, of corporates. So say, you know what, just let's quit. Let's take a break. We were keeping ourselves busy anyway with work, so money were okay. More than okay, actually. And then without rushing, let's see what the future will bring us in terms of opportunity. And Alex and Monica, they opened Taller after, I think, 3 years.
But how SIPS came along?
SIPS came along 5 years later, so, you know.
But how has been the process?
Well, originally, because I had an apartment in Barcelona on the first floor, and on the ground floor, there is a warehouse, kind of. And I said, maybe I can get that and do an art galleries with a bar inside, because I knew I could not get a bar license for that space. And people can pay for the entrance of the art gallery and they have a cocktail for free. This was the idea. So then I started to speak with an architect for the roof, but that roof was built illegally, so I could not modify it. I could not make it nice. So then I kind of aborted the idea to do this art gallery cocktail bar. And I was speaking with Mark, say, hey, Mark, you know, I was looking for this place in Barcelona to do this art gallery, the bar, the license, the roof. So, well, I want to do a bar as well. Oh, really? Okay, let's do it together then. So that's how it happened. And then I came down to Barcelona a few times with him to see some venues. We got the venues. We started to think about it. We paid the venue. COVID came. We got an extra 1.5 year delay. And it was very good because we had 1 year extra to come up with something that However, you will have to think about it in 3 months. And fun enough, is another proof that when you do something with a dream, it will last forever or longer. In fact, nowadays at Sips, despite the fact that we changed the menu several times, there are certain drinks that were still conceptualized back then with that dream. And when you look at them, when you serve them, they still look, about now. They don't look old.
Timeless.
They are there. And those are the idea that were thought with the dream. So whatever you do with a real intention, with the dream of something, it will last.
In 2023, you won the best bar in the world with Sips.
Yes.
What inspired the creation of Sips?
Look, we opened Sips in 2021, was June. I never remember. It's crazy. Because since then, every day has been the same for me. June. And in December 2021, there was 50 best bar. So in 5 months, we were already nominated in the 50 best bar. So wow, I mean, we just opened. Nobody. So let's go. And said, no, let's not go. Come on, just let's focus on it. So we went to London. There was still COVID, something. Went to London. And we were there, and the award, and Sips number 27. I said, oh, the fucking shit. I was used to get first place, and now look where I am, 37. Let's go away from me. I said, well, come on. Then I said to Simone, you just opened the bar, and they are bar dreaming to be in this list, and you complain because I'm 37. So anyway, that's not the goal. Let's go back to work. The next year, the finals, they were in Barcelona. So everybody came here from World War. And we were nominated. And we are on and I said, well, last year was 37, maybe go 20, 25, let's see, So 37, 36, 5, 25, 15, 20, 15, 10. I said, Mark, what the fuck is going on, 10, 7, third. And when they said third, I said to myself, okay, basically it's like having the first place and then from when one thing happened to another one, and then the next year was the first place, and then the year later, last year, was the third place again. But now the real opportunities are coming out. Request of a longs pop up, and not like a one day guess if pop up, so see where you can license the brand. That's where you can do the real money, for a bar.
Is it really important to be number 1 or number 3? Is a huge difference in between?
Nowadays, that list literally brings the highlights on you globally because it's a very strong mediatic machine. When we did it in Langham, it was very different. It was still way more bartender and bar industry. Now it's huge. It's a good trampoline. Then it's up to you to prove if you are good or not. It's a good trampoline. However, if you do good nowadays, you will be in that list, and then it's up to you to spread it all over the world.
And that we perceive it. But what has been the key pillar that made you win in 2023?
We stick to our plan back then. So we for example.
But give me the practical idea. I want to know what it represents. SIP. 3 words.
We said, let's not take SIP anywhere because there were high requests of SIPs here. We don't go anywhere. We are here. If somebody wants to see SIP, they need to come here. If you want to see the Colosseum, you got to go to Rome. You might find a fiberglass full size in Las Vegas, but that's not the real Colosseum. So I said, let's create a desire. Let's not go anywhere. It was very risky, because literally we killed all the chances of extra PR and so on.
And you go against whatever everybody out there been doing it.
And we didn't have PR. We didn't have PR agent. The bar didn't have it. So let's stay here every day. Whoever comes, they need to experience what SIP is all about, what we want to do. Essentia Era wasn't open yet. And so we created desire of the bar. which you can also do by going around, inviting bars, guest shift, be everywhere, which is pretty much the tactic that now everybody does. And the more you do, the more you might be exposed to reach the top, But we never done, especially back then, we didn't do it. So I said, let's go nowhere. Let's stick to the plan. And I remember the colleagues said, Simone, why don't we go to do the guest bartending? Everybody's trying. I said, no. We do what we gotta do. We follow our line. The rest will come. And it came.
Genius. 3 words to describe sip.
3 words, sips. Flavor or taste, more than flavor. Taste. A logic and a function. So whatever you see something served in a specific glass is not just because you want to be pretty, just because of the Instagram things. And definitely, I would say, creativity.
Fundamental.
But now you heard this taste everywhere, creativity, function, innovation. Now it became a kind of a salt and pepper. You put this everywhere. There's the real things you do and the things you just put on a billboard.
Sips is often described a place where cocktail meet design. Tell me more about it.
Well, let's say there's a logic behind any things we do. And it's not just a pretty glass, there's a bespoke glass for a specific function. So it's not just the taste of the taste of a cocktail, but also how you drinking, how it's actually gliding into your palate, what you're feeling because of that, because also the type of the glass, perhaps. This is one of the reasons.
And how do you approach innovation when it comes to sips?
How do we approach creativity, you mean? Then eventually it can innovate to something else. Or how we approach something new with an innovative things. I'll do an example. The Flavor Blaster. Flavor Blaster is a result of an innovative element, which is a vaporizer, where you can spread aroma, where you can vaporize aroma based on water or glycerin. So we conceptualize that into an aromatic gun that can apply flavors over food and drinks. That's the difference between creativity and innovation. Innovative is that element, is that thing that can help you to open more doors. At Sips, how we approach that? Well, we never say no to new things. For example,
we're going back to the same point. We say yes first.
Yes.
And we make sure that we accomplish.
For example, there was a gentleman came here and said, look, I do wine and I have some leftover sugars from the grape before fermenting it that I reduce them and I do a kind of a syrup, very rich on sugar, so it might not ferment, but it tastes really fruity. Are you interested? I said, yes. And that things happen to be already a cocktail made by Mother Nature. So we just have to pour it pretty much. And it's so unique. People say, oh, wow, what you do to do this? We do nothing, So that's also being creative, to find something with a value that no one else has discovered yet in the ambience of a bar.
What is your favorite techniques that applies to the bar?
Technique? I don't know.
Or process, or a thing that for you is still to this day is a fascinating, or a method of shaking.
It fascinates me more than is a method more than a technique to dilute all the flavors in a blend to the point where you don't feel nothing, and then by going back to start to reconcentrate them and see which you notice first. And now you can master it. For example, take a glass of cold brew coffee, which tastes of coffee with some fruity notes, and then add a tiny bit of sherry. You don't feel it. Tiny more of sherry, and then you start to feel it. Tiny more of this. And then the result is a liquid. It's not even a cocktail, but then you start to feel many things in the delicacy. It's not a boozy. And that, for me, is a beautiful approach to work on ingredients, because suddenly the most successful drinks at the drinkery house or Essentia, here at Sips, are those where you sip it, and more things are happening. For every sip, you discover something new. And generally, they cannot be very boozy, because otherwise they might overpower your palate.
Yeah, exactly. You were talking about sips, but sips is 2 bar in one place.
It's 2 rooms, it's 2 concepts.
Tell us everything about it.
Well, we have the drinkery house, which is the front part, the place where is the most famous one because it has been open for 4 years. They call it Sips, but technically it's a Sips drinkery house, and this is Sips Essentia. So this is Sips, a bar with 2 rooms.
Is that trendy things to have 2 bars in one place?
No, this is the layout of the building. So we couldn't do one big bar because it was separated with these 2 rooms. And originally, Sips Essentia was meant to be the very first idea that Mark and we had in Barcelona. Then we realized that maybe it was a little bit too extreme, which is a bit extreme here. And then we had to think about the drinkery house, a concept more pret-à-porter, more casual, more effortless. We put a lot of effort, but when it comes to the table, you think, oh, this is, wow, But there are 4 people working on prepping the ingredient for a service with 8 people afterwards.
It's an army.
So there are 9 people working in a shift for 33 guests.
Unbelievable.
9:33.
Unbelievable. So the whole idea of having 2 places because you didn't want to split the crowd into, you will lose the momentum, the feeling.
No, over there you go and say, let's go and let's see what we can drink tonight. Here you come to experience how I'm going to drink this,
How I'm going to drink
over there,
this.
what we drink here, how we drink.
It's a different question you're making to yourself.
Totally.
And would you say that on that side it will be more like a service and not an experience, and here more an experience and not a service?
No. In both sides of Sips is an experience. Over there can be a bit more funky. Yes, be more, oh wow, I don't want to look at my phone because I'm so into this sequence of sips that I'm having,
I see. I noticed that you and the team, you are really attached. And one of the beautiful thing, it's the charisma that the team has.
Mm-hmm.
What's the key for that?
But you need to find the right people, which is a very easy sentence to say. But also you need to stay with them. They need to absorb your
vibe.
Yeah. To be honest with you, in the last year, we rely a lot on the staff. I've been a little bit more absent here, and I feel it. I love to be here, but sometimes I cannot be in 2 places at the same time.
Oh, in 3 places.
And also, Sips for us was also a shopping window to show what we can do. The business needs to be healthy, and it is, but it's a small bar. You will never make a lot of money from a 33 seats bar, especially with the 17 employees. So you have to go outside and do extras. That's what I love to do. So, but if you're outside, you're not here, and if you're not here, you cannot do extras.
Of course.
But generally, Mark or myself, we're always here.
Would you say that this is like your view window of what's going on, and then from here is where you maximize the opportunity?
A bar is a shopping window for anyone that works in the bar, not just the owner of the bar. A bartender, the head bartender, the waiter, because people get to see you, get to see how you do things and what you do, and especially people get to experience how you make them feel, and they will remember you, and then eventually they will call you for a job position, for a consultancy, for a menu. So that's why for me it's very wrong when we say, oh, he's a bartender entrepreneur. No, that's wrong. A bartender is an entrepreneur from your first day of work. Even if you're a barback, you're an entrepreneur because you are contributing to the success of a business. First, it's not your business, but it's your salary, it's your tips, it's your service charge, it's your profile, and it will be your reputation. So, and if you understand that from the very beginning, you're really one step ahead. Because suddenly you will have a colleague that just take the shift and he goes home, and there will be you that take the shift. Before going home, you will reflect about how can I do it better tomorrow? Who did I meet tonight? How did I make that person feel? This person came from New Zealand here to experience what we do. How did I make them feel? They will remember us. They will remember me. Maybe they will call us for a job, you know? So that's why the mentality of being an entrepreneur started from the first day you start to bartend or work in the hospitality. On the door, on the reception, doesn't matter. We are entrepreneur, and we will be entrepreneur if you want to be there. It's the best place to learn that.
Yeah. Aside the bar, you develop your skills as well as a master of understanding flavor and taste, right? And you develop a lot of brands in the past years.
Yeah, I contributed.
You contributed, as you're saying. Which one is the most proud that you feel about it? And the reason why?
Years ago, for the Russian market, we're speaking about 2011, 12. Yeah. We developed with the Martini, Bacardi Martini, just for the Russian market, an aperitif, which basically it has never been commercialized outside of it. And it faded away a few years later, but it was a super interesting smoky tea-based aperitivo. And it was the first project I was actually involved in the technical part. Which suddenly you stop doing drink, but you start to work with flavor houses and distilleries, which is for me it was a remarkable feeling, you know, and it made me really proud. But I cannot say the name because of the whatever things, politics stuff. Also, definitely
it makes you proud because you were full on the project.
Full on the project, and literally when they listen to a 26 years old bartender on a board of an investment that will be worth a few millions, well, I have a voice, so they're listening to the bartenders. That's nice, you know. And then I will definitely say, well, the aperitivo project of Santoni as well. I mean, I know it's here,
Yeah,
but
sure.
we put blood, tears, and sweat.
Everything we have is in there.
Do you remember when we went to France to look for the...
I remember.
Well, I need to tell this story, okay?
Okay,
It's
go
important.
on.
So we were looking for a distribution in France for Amaro Santoni. It was during COVID. You were in Milan to see your parents. I was in London, and we were meant to go to Bordeaux, and there were no... They canceled most of the flight back then, so it was impossible from London to go to Bordeaux unless you have to go all around Europe. It was crazy. And from Milan, neither, you couldn't go. So I flew to Milan, and we rented a car, an SUV. It was a big one.
Yeah.
And we drove to Bordeaux, to Cognac, actually. Went to Cognac. And on the way there, we drove for 16 hours. 14 and a half, 15 hours.
Eating salami and drink Red Bull.
The small salami, these shitty things in there. Because on the highway in France, the food is horrible. You get used to autogrill in Italy. Anyway, we arrived there, 15 hours. We sleep. The next day we go for the lunch. We meet the owner of the company. It was super amazed. It was super interesting. And we got the deal, so we brought it on.
We got it, Billy. We got it.
So we signed a distribution agreement. Great. I said, oh, and we had a glass of wine. We had lobster. I remember. I said, fuck. In an hour we'll be driving back to Milan, eating again that shitty food on the highway. And then we said, well, if we get the deal, we need to celebrate. We might make a detour. We might go to Monaco for a pizza. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because Monaco was open. But I said, no, let's not be silly. Let's go back home, you know. But so we didn't go to Monaco. But I said, let's get excited. Let's go back home faster because there was no traffic. So there was no one on the highway.
Nobody.
And we drove. We went beyond 180 per hour, easy, constantly, until we reached to was a Frejus, was a Mont Blanc.
It was the Mont Blanc.
Was a Mont
It
Blanc.
was the Mont Blanc on the way back.
So on the Mont Blanc, we have to slow down because of the speed cameras.
Toot.
But basically, we went back home in more than 12 hours.
Yeah, maybe less.
So
the last bit, it was intense.
Yeah, so we gained 3 hours out of 14 hours. This is crazy.
This was really crazy.
Yeah, because we were swapping the drive. Whenever I was driving between two lanes using the white line of the lane as a reference.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just Yeah.
Straight point.
Straight point. Red Bulls and coffees.
Yeah, but we made it. That's
made
the
it.
most
We made
important,
it.
you know.
Ultimately, I mean, this is a story, but it's what happened to us. But when you want to do something, if you really give your best, you're gonna bring it on.
Absolutely. Go out there and do it. You know, that's what I think is essential. Sometimes there is so many status around. I have to do this if I have to achieve this. No, 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 no. Just focus. Be concentrate. Put everything, put your knowledge, still a bit of this, still a bit of that, put it together and go out there and do it. You may not gonna get on the first go, but then you're gonna learn so much that it will give you the chance to step. Okay, now I can do it. Now I'm able to reach it.
One of the things that I notice that many colleagues younger, they always wait for the perfect moment to do something. The perfect moment will never come.
We never can.
And if you wait for it, somebody else, clever and you, will do it before you. You will end up with nothing. For example, did we adjust this drink for a new recipe? No, well, because there was one colleague sick. It was the holidays. You see, you're really finding an excuse. Don't wait for the perfect day when everybody's here, because every day there's something happening. Today, we have to call a locksmith because we couldn't open the storage. So every day, something happened. Do you need to take this as an excuse for not doing things? Of course not. Otherwise, I will be still here today as a barback, as I started cleaning the bathroom. I still do clean the bathroom occasionally if something happened, but you gotta move on. And don't wait for the perfect moment.
Never.
Get a moment and try to make it as perfect as possible. That's what you need.
That's a really good advice. There is not much I can say. Simone, you built an extraordinary career. What is inspired you today?
Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I have no idea. What inspires me today? Sometimes inspires me to think about it. One day I can spend a month doing gardening. Sometimes it inspires me that I will be serving some bespoke drinks for a beautiful international event where I can give an important message, just in a catering, you know what I mean? And sometimes you just have to, because do you really always have to answer to something, you know? And you just enjoy seeing people happy in a small place around you. And that's weird, because what's the inspiration? You can have this idea that this for this, but it's just because of that specific thing and not for something else, you know. For example, we work with cocktails, but there are people that don't even have a glass of clean water. Now at this moment, no. The cocktail is not in between, but can we do something for that, you know?
Let me say something, because of course I know you, and in many aspects we've really grown up together. Don't you think that with the time, sometimes simple thing really inspire you to do bigger thing? As you said, gardening.
Yes, the simple things or the simplicity things, perhaps that's where more details are. Simply they don't have to be seen, you know? And the simplicity can be a very good starting point to do something new. It's very easy to add things on, just to confuse, you know. But to prove that you can do the magic with three things and be original, being delicious, not everyone can handle it.
I see it. Well, from my point of view, you have SIPs. You run the business at Boadas, which we couldn't take the time to talk through, but we will have another session just specific to that. Today, you managed to open another place, which is not close to you, but is in Asia. How this came across, and what's the concept of Montana?
Yeah, Montana. Well, first of all, Montana has been open with the team of Barcelona in Hong Kong, so with Lorenzo Tinori, with Justin, with Brian. It's 4 of us in Montana. They wanted to expand the business, Leone, at the beginning. And I said, well, if you if I would love to be part of it, and if I can participate. But then instead of doing another Leone, everyone they agreed that perhaps something different would have been good as well. No? I said, okay, let's do it. We didn't know what to do, but Lorenzo and I, we love a lot about classic, timeless, things that last throughout the time, certain styles on the generations. And so we create Montana, which is inspired about the Cuban migration to Florida in the 1970s. So Cuban culture, location is Florida, timeline is 1970s. We opened it 2 months ago, approximately. It started well. People are happy. There's a good vibe. There's a great vibe. There's a good hype. And of course, it's not around the corner, but ultimately, you cannot. I also have another very bad habit. I always want to be involved in things, which is good, but you cannot be in two places at the same time. So ultimately, you need to accept to delegate. And it's very difficult to learn how to delegate. It's very difficult. Because you know that certain things will never be the way you want. But as long as they will be very close to how you want, and they are satisfying, and they are functioning well, you need to accept that, you know. And but with the team of Montana, it's been fantastic so far. Very professional, very, very serious people, very reliable, very committed, and the results speak for itself.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I can't wait to be there. Soon I will try out. What will be the best advice you will like to share to the next generation of bartending?
Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't be afraid to be judged when you make mistakes. People can think whatever you want about what you do, who you are, but ultimately it has to be you. You are satisfied by yourself. Listen to everyone. You will take your own conclusion. And always surround yourself with people that you can feel you can learn something new, you can grow with. And this is what I will do. And put effort in what you do, because often you will find yourself in a situation where you will be tired, super tired, and you will say, oh my God, why I'm doing this? And then automatically there will be the other side of you that will say, you're doing this because you're meant to go to this. You're doing this for a reason that right now you don't see it, but it will come. Because you came here for this, you know? And that's it's suffering as well, but it's part of it. It's part. I remember going home and falling asleep on the motorbike. I said, fuck, but why am I doing this? I need to wake up in 3 hours for an interview for a video. I said, no, we came here for this and we're gonna do it. And then the result will come.
I think I could not end this podcast as best with this really wise advice. So thank you very much, Simone. I really, really, really appreciate your time. And, you know, you are really inspirational every day in everything. So keep on going. Don't stop.
I keep on going.
And, you know, as you believe in your team, in your people, we believe in you at all time. Don't forget
Thank
that.
you. Grazie. Salute.
Ciao, maestro. Via lì.